Good morning. We are going live. We're going to start off with some Zig Ziglar.
You see, the basic problem is most people, when they're working on their job, they get to thinking, I really ought to be spending time at home with my family. And then when they're at home with their family, they get to thinking, you really ought to be out there working for my family. And so when they're out there working for the family, their mind is back home. And when they're back home, their mind is back out there in the field. And then they tell everybody, well, I don't ever have time to do anything. No wonder you're always traveling. You see, the basic problem is not lack of time, it is lack of direction. We all have exactly the same amount of time, whether we're a millionaire or a pauper. All of us have 24 hours every single day. The truth is, ladies and gentlemen, we must have goals if we're going to do anything. Goals do a lot of things. For example, they enable you to chase the blues away. I've never known anybody who was truly depressed who had specific and long-range goals. And what goals do is they create activity. And you see, activity, as you work towards reaching them, creates the very excitement which you need in order to accomplish or reach your objectives. The psychologists put it this way: logic will not change an emotion, but action will. And as you get busy working towards these dreams of yours, and yes, you absolutely must have your dreams, ladies and gentlemen. And what we're going to do is look at the ways you build a foundation underneath those dreams. Several years ago, they did an experiment with a number of college students. And in this particular experiment, they let them go to sleep, and they hooked these brain machines up to them. With these brain machines, they could determine precisely within a matter of seconds when the student went to sleep. Then they could tell when that student started to dream. And as the student would start to dream, they would awaken him or her. And then they'd let them go back to sleep, and that is no problem. But when they started to dream, they would awaken them again. And with those brainwave machines, they can tell exactly when they start to dream. At the end of one night of this kind of treatment, many of the students were nervous and fidgety. At the end of 2 nights of this kind of treatment, where they had a reasonable amount of sleep, but no dreaming, they became very irritable and very short and very cross. At the end of just 3 nights of a reasonable amount of sleep, but no dreaming, they could tell that some of them were headed for some psychological difficulties. And so what they did was they aborted the experiment. Now, about 24 hours later, most of the students were back to normal. Within a week, all of them had returned 100%. But the experiment proved something very conclusively, and that's this: when you're asleep, ladies and gentlemen, you need your dreams. I'm here to tell you that when you're wide awake, you also need your dreams. You must have your goals. You'll never make it as a wandering generality. You must become a meaningful specific. If you're going to work tomorrow because that's what you did yesterday, you're not going to be as good tomorrow as you were yesterday, because now you're 2 days older and no closer to the goal which you do not have. You can't make it as a wandering generality. Most people understand you got to become a meaningful specific. It reminds me of an experiment done some little while ago by Jean-Henri Fabre, the great French naturalist. He took a number of processionary caterpillars, so named because they follow each other in a procession. And he lined them around a flower pot until they formed a never-ending circle. And they started going round and round 24 hours that first day. And then they went the next day and the next. And by about the third or the fourth day, he put some pine needles into the center of that flower pot. That's the food of the processionary caterpillar. They kept going round and round, 7 full days and 7 full nights. They went round and round until they literally dropped dead from starvation and exhaustion. With an abundance of food less than 6 inches away, they had starved to death because they confused activity with accomplishment. You've got some friends that are in the same shape. They're busy all the time. They're going, and they're here and they're there and they're somewhere else. But they never really accomplish anything because they don't have those specific, clearly identifiable objectives. You gotta have those goals.
Carlos, good morning. What's happening, my man? What's happening?
Zig Ziglar, ladies and gentlemen.
Can you hear me? Oh, I got you muted. Good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
What's happening?
Yeah, I figured we'd start you off with your guy, Zig Ziglar.
Zig Ziglar, babies. I heard it. I was getting some coffee and went to the restroom, and I came back in and I could hear it. I'm like, there's my buddy Zig. I just know that voice.
Yes.
I didn't even need to look at the screen.
He's got a clearly identifiable voice. His voice is very unique.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. I saw that and I was like, oh yeah, good old Zig Ziglar.
Yeah, his voice and Dr. Zachariah, what's his name? He's on Christian radio station. They both have very clear, I mean, those voices, there's no mistake in those two voices.
No, I'll never mistake that voice for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I love Zig Ziglar, and that little analogy he gave about the caterpillar, and confusing activity with accomplishment, and how it died right there. The food was right there, right? All that movement, but it wasn't specific, wasn't directive.
I love the goals. That's where I learned it from him. I learned you got to have goals, and it's just like what he says, you just got to have the goals, you got to do it, you got to have the dreams too, you have dreams at night, you got to have the dreams, you got to have the dreams during the day too, and you got to work for it, and that's what drives you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember, babies.
Absolutely is what drives you. Yeah, you betcha. We were talking about goals. I thought one of the things I would share, we talk a little bit about as well is, we have a social media content calendar that we kind of email out to, anybody who's interested. We send it out to them. And today is, I noticed your colors there. You got you got purple, and I'd happen to know that you're not a K-State guy.
No.
I know
it's
that.
My little girl's dancing on the Blue Valley Northwest team. So it's Husky Day.
All right. So you
Blue Valley Northwest, babies.
All right.
So she's on the dance team, and so today she's got a big day. So I thought I'd support her.
Nice.
Her first Friday game, Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Otherwise, I know you'd totally be rocking the Husker Red. The Husker Red.
Yep. College colors, babies. Yeah, I'd be doing the red, but I just figured I might as well do it today and support good old Bella.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Good luck, and I'm sure that she'll do great. And you guys, as parents, will support her the way you always do. That's the fun thing about what we do with kids, man. It's fun time. And
I love the sports. It's my opportunity to be able to. Even when I was in high school, I went to my high school sports. I went to the football games and soccer games, basketball games. And now I get that opportunity it gives me a reason. It forces me to go now. Now I get to see some, the high school football and the basketball team. We watched volleyball the other day. It was really nice.
Yeah,
it was really good.
It's a lot of fun, man. But Grant has a tournament this weekend, but his birthday is on Monday, and we've got PCB coming up. So he actually wants to go to Tantera. So we're gonna pass the tournament, and we're gonna go down to Tantera and get him some massages and some stuff like that, and hang out down at Tantera for the weekend. So
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. He opted to pass his tournament. He's like, no. I want to go down to Tantera. So that's where we're heading here today after school's over. But college day. So like this calendar right here, right? So obviously I wanted to take just a few minutes and talk about, lead generation opportunities. And I figured it'd be good to talk a little about this calendar. And of course, Labor Day is on Monday. And so it's a great opportunity for us to be reaching out to past and current clients, as well as prospective clients, and wishing them a happy holiday and a great Labor Day, right? But this calendar also gives you some ideas of some things that you can do. Reach out to, vendor or partner and highlight them on social media. What events around town, posting stuff that's going on for Labor Day, right? Popping that into the social media, being an informer, right? College Colors Day, asking people to post their colors, drop a picture of your colors or whatever, right? So this is just some great ideas on developing some content on social media. And anybody who wants a copy of this, let me know. Carlos and I can get it to you. We've got it. It's on email. It's a PDF, however you want it. Post it tweet it. You can face it out, whatever, however you want it. Let us know. We'll get it to you. But these are just some ideas and some things that we send out, once a month, right, to our partners to give them ideas of stuff that they can do on social media to just get some consistent activity. And as Zig Ziglar says, let's not confuse activity with accomplishment, because it's a matter of also following up on this stuff, right? Because everybody that posts, that comments, that likes, those are opportunities. As Leon Sarai would always say, those are opportunities for engagement, which is opportunities, as Carlos says, to build relationships. And when we build relationships, people like us, trust us, believe in us, and then eventually they're going to do business with us. Right, Carlos?
That's right. That's right. That's what matters, those relationships,
Absolutely.
They like, trusting, and believe in you, they'll buy from you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's the most important thing now. And, leads. You got to keep meeting people. You got to keep talking to people. You got to keep meeting and getting new names. And that was my biggest thing when I was young, was that I wanted to meet as many people as I possibly can. And I'm still a long ways away from that. So,
Carlos, what do you say is a good measure to know whether you're on track to continuing to find a way to meet people, or getting a tracking of meeting people? I know there's something you always say, that we should be getting rid of something over a certain time period to kind of help make sure that we're staying on track to meeting new people or building our business.
What do I say?
Well, there's those little things called business cards.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you got. Oh, yeah. That's the thing. I told Eric the other day. I said I just gave him his box of 1,000 business cards, and I said, you better get rid of those things in a month.
That's right. 30 days.
30 days, babies. I said you better get rid of those. I expect to buy those things every 30 days. Because if you're not, then you're not talking to people. You're not meeting enough people. You're not getting connections. You're not shaking enough hands. You're not getting in front of them. You're not getting enough names. If you give a business card, most likely they give you back a business card, or if not, you give them a business card of who you are and what you do, and you got to let people know who you are and what you do.
That's right. Carlos, we ought to have 1,000. We ought to have the 1,000 business card distribution challenge. We should have a challenge associated with that, because, how much will it rain on you if you are meeting and talking and distributing 1,000 business cards a month? How much will it rain on you? In just probably not even more than a month, you're going to be rained on in the second month. Just distribute. If you focus on distributing 1,000 business cards.
Yeah, and the thing you got to realize is how much, everybody's business is different, but how much does one person make you? How much does one deal do for you? When you got a box of business cards, they're what, $69? They're less than 3 cents a card. What does one client get you? How much does it make you? When you distribute 1,000 business cards, there's absolutely no reason why you could not get something out of it the next month. It's all worth it. People don't realize it. We still have people come into our store and say, I only want. Well, we just ordered 25 business cards. We just got an order of 25 business cards. And I'm like, I didn't take the order because I would have said it, but are you serious about your business? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And guess who it was? Guess what type of business it was?
Real estate?
Close, yes. It had to do with real estate, a mortgage lender.
Mortgage lender. Oh, godly. Oh, godly. I have cards all over the place. I remember you talking about finding cards all over. I have cards in my bag. I have them in my workout bag. I got them in my car. I got them all over the place. I'm pulling stuff out of my pockets of jackets or business cards just to make sure that I always have a business card with me,
Yeah.
And
that's what I always said. It's like, you got to put them in put them in different places, just because you just never know when you need it. you know.
Yeah.
I've been caught off guard, just recently I've been caught off guard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I know I have some. I got some in my bag somewhere. I know I got something somewhere, And but yeah, you gotta have those cards with you all the times, I went to a big event the other day and didn't have any on me. I was like, I need to get these cards. So
I had cards, Carlos, when I saw you at Yazoo. I had
you
cards
did?
with me. I sure did. I had cards with me. Absolutely. I sure did.
1,500 people there,
People, yeah, absolutely. I did. If I go someplace and I don't have a card, I'm really disappointed because it's the time that someone asks that you really need to make sure you have them with you. So I keep them all the time.
Yeah, we ought to do a challenge. We got to figure that out. We'll do some challenge. We need to put on a challenge for business cards and see how many people will get involved and see, because I'm telling you, we just got to it forces people to meet people. It forces people to actually do what they're supposed to do. It's just like my flyers. I believe in flyers big time. Flyers are a big thing. If you got a product or service that you have and you can make a flyer, give them out. If you're not giving out flyers, if you're not giving out business cards, then you're not talking and meeting to enough people. Then you're not generating leads and you're not generating opportunities, because every person is an opportunity that you walk by.
Right.
Every person that you meet, you talk to, every person that you walk by is an opportunity.
That's right.
And it might be the right one if you just say, hey, this is what I do. You let them know who you are and what you do, and you let as many people know as many people that you can know what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The question always comes up, well, how could I get rid of, because really 1,000 business cards a month is 33 cards a day. 33 cards a day. And there's events, there's meetings, there's plenty of opportunities to give away those business cards. And then there's targeted visits to like gas stations, visits to coffee shops, getting out there, meeting people, and the thing about it is if we told people that if you only have to do this for 30 days and then you're going to be busy for the rest of the year, if we told people that, I still don't think they would understand the power of distributing 1,000 business cards in a month. But that's really what it will turn out to be. You do this for like a month and a half, you'll be so busy with people responding that your phone will just keep ringing. Your email will just keep ringing.
And for somebody that's just starting out in business, or somebody that needs to build a business, you know what I mean? Somebody that's maybe been in the business and they need more, or they're getting frustrated. You guys, you're just not doing the basics. Meeting people, handing out business cards, getting some flyers, knocking on doors, going to events. Go to events. Go to some events that doesn't even have to do with what you're doing. Go to events and meet people. Talk to people and let them know who you are and what you do. You just never know who you're going to run into. And I'm telling you, it is so powerful that if you give out those cards every day, you will get something out of it. I promise you. You'll get business out of it. And the people that don't get more people, that don't introduce themselves, they don't, hand out their information or collect information, they're gonna suffer, and then they're gonna be like, well, this isn't working out, or I can't get it done, or I don't make enough money, or it's just not working, and it's just BS, because you can make as much money as you want in any business that you're doing out there. It's just a matter of doing the work.
Yeah. Well, and I know you talk about the fact that you're still getting flyers from years ago.
Right.
People walking in, still handing you flyers you gave out years ago. And that's a perfect example. Like, again, you pound it and you pound it for 30, even 45 days of focused on giving out 1,000 business cards a month, and do it for 2 months. Literally that stuff, you're going to get a business card. Someone's going to call you a year from now from that effort. And you're going to be like, where did this come from? I mean, your example of the flyer walking in is a perfect example.
Right. We're working a client right now that it was one of my flyers that I print and I hand out, but I also put it on social media. And it was a very old post because it was one of my first flyers that I made. Very, very old post. And I got some business off of it. And I'm talking, it was over a year, well over a year old post. Somebody commented on it that was out there. Just out of nowhere. And guess what? I had my notifications turned on and it notified me that they commented on that old post. And it's like it was well over a year old. So there's absolutely no reason why you can't post the flyers that you make as well. You hand them out and post them and you'll get business.
Yeah.
That came off the internet. Not necessarily me giving it to somebody, but it came off the internet. It was the same flyer that I give out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, you mentioned the fact that, like, if you're starting up, if you're trying to really generate your business, get your business going, doing that. And you're right. And I'll give you the perfect example. When I bought the Cotman transmission, when I left Sprint and bought Cotman transmission, they said, hey, go do outside sales. And so I lived in Raymore. I own the location in Olathe. And so what I decided to do was every time I would go, I'd take a different route to work from Raymore to Olathe. And I'd stop and I'd hand out flyers all along the way to any automotive shop. When I ran out of automotive shops on all the different routes that I learned to take, then I went to just regular businesses. Why? Because regular businesses have regular people who have what? Cars. And what do cars have? Transmissions that break. So, and then when I ran out of that, then I started going to different places and just dropping those flyers and posting them in coffee shops and things of that nature. So, people would come from all over the place and they would bring the flyer in. But the best example, as I mentioned to you, was those little poker chips. I started going to the poker chips, dropping those all over and leaving those all over, and people would walk in with those things and would just amaze me. So, a little bit of work can concentrate over a short amount of time will just bury you with business, but it just takes that first step. You just got to take the first step.
And I did it for long, and that's the thing. When I just go back to 10 years ago, 12 years ago now, and I came to a city that I knew one person. And it's my wife, and I started a business. I got into a business and I didn't know anybody here at all. So it's like, it was scary, and I can't imagine anybody that just tries to start a business now, or that wants to build a business or that wants to grow their business. I can understand how it's frustrating, but if you don't just do the basics, and that's all I did, I'm like, wait a minute, I just need to introduce myself. Just like when I was a young kid, I was just like, that's what I wanted to do. And I'm like, wait a minute, I just need to start from the basics and build it up. And building it up is just meeting people. And so all I did was walk. I walked and walked and walked. I walked to, I started a radius around my company. And I started walking to doors, to businesses, to everywhere. And I wasn't soliciting anything. All I was saying was, hey, my name is Carlos Ceballos, and I own Mail and Copy Plus down on 127th and Antioch. Just wanted to let you know that we're down there. We do copies, printing, mailbox rentals. We do stamps. We do business cards, flyers, brochures, all that fun stuff. And if you guys need anything, just let me know. And I gave them my information and I walked out the door. I wasn't expecting any business. All I did was introduce myself and let people know who I am and what I did, where I'm at. And that's all I did. I walked. I parked my car somewhere, and then I walked as far as I could walk before I couldn't see my car. And then I'd walk back to my car, get in it, move to the next spot, and then just start walking. And I just walk. And And all I did was just introduce myself and hand out flyers. And
And
go,
that's
and
all,
then I
and
didn't
that's
know
all it
anything.
takes. That's all it
Yeah.
takes, Carlos. That's it. You didn't have to
Yes.
sell anything.
Mm-mm. I just introduced myself. That's all I did was I just walked in, told them, walked out. I didn't have to sell anything. I didn't. And there were some people that were like, "Hey, oh, you do stamps, or you do business cards, or and I did that before I knew any of my pricing. You know what I mean? I didn't know. So if somebody started asking me, it was funny. I remember it like it was yesterday. Somebody started asking me, "Hey, oh, you do business cards?" He goes, "I need some business cards. So what kind of pricing do you have?" I said, "You know what? I'll get back to you on that." Because I didn't have any pricing. I had to call my wife and I'm like, "Hey, what are we going to price out business cards?" And she's just like, "I don't know. What do you think?" And then we started talking about it on the phone as I'm walking into other places and dropping off flyers and stuff. And I'm like, "You know what? $69 sounds good. It's a good number." And I did $69 for 1,000 business cards, and I haven't changed it in 12 years. But
Wow.
but the thing is and then I talked to her and we talked about this thing and we were like, how are we gonna compete with all these other people doing business cards? Because how can we beat free? I think Vistaprint was doing free business cards. Right? They still might be, I don't know. But I'm like, hey, I told her, I said, look, it's I guess if they're going to do business with us, they're going to do business with us. So that's because they like me, trust me, and believe in me. So if they like me and trust me, they're going to do business no matter what. So if they don't want to buy business cards from me, that's fine. If they do, then they will. If they can get free, go for it. But I found a ton of people that were going free that ended up coming to me because either they looked bad, they didn't have enough writing on it, they didn't do what they were supposed to do, they misspelled words, but they wouldn't fix it. So they printed it, they're going to charge you for more. And it's just the customer service. I'm like, okay, I can do this based off my service, my customer service, what I do, they like me, they like my customer service. So I can base this off of it. I haven't changed $69 for 1,000 business cards since I started 12 years ago.
Wow.
Awesome.
So awesome. Yeah.
So it's not any different. If they want to buy cards, they will. If not, then they won't, right. But it's just a matter of getting out there and introducing myself. And it's just like, how are we going to compete with all these other big dogs, and we just did it just based off of, they have to like you, trust you, and believe in you.
That's right.
And that's all I did. And I try to meet as many people as I possibly can. And that's all. I just kept building it up, and building it up.
Yeah.
And then,
Carlos, remember the newspaper? Remember the news? Did you ever deliver newspapers?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
I did too. I did too.
Yeah, I did. I did it for, I don't know. I probably did it I didn't do it very long because I was so busy with sports, but
right.
I probably did it. And actually oh yeah, I did do it. And actually my parents were kind of frustrated because they were really doing it. We got the paper route, but then they ended up doing it, because they were the ones either driving the car or I was trying to get on my bike but it needed to be done and we weren't able to do it. So they ended up doing it. So it ended pretty quick.
Well, I did the paper route and it was extremely successful, but I was thinking I started out I think my success as a paper boy started out really when I was knocking on doors, asking people if they wanted their sidewalks shoveled, driveways shoveled, and then grass cut, right? So I was kind of essentially building a year-round base of customers. And so when it came to the newspaper role, it was easy to do that. It was easy to do that because I knew most of the neighbors. I knew most of those people already.
Right.
The tips were great, right? Because they knew me. But really, I built that base by knocking. When it started snowing, I was knocking on the door asking if they wanted their sidewalk shoveled. And it amazes me because I don't see any kids doing that today. I don't see any kids knocking on the door and asking, hey, you want us to shovel your driveway? Because I would have been like, yeah, heck yeah. And same thing with getting the grass cut. You know, when I first bought my house, there was a kid across the street. He walked over, he knocked on the door and asked if he can cut my grass. And that's who cut my grass. I never cut my grass in my house. I have not cut my grass since I left my dad's house, where I was cutting his backyard and everyone in the neighborhood's yard. And after that, I was done cutting grass. So just because that kid asked, he got the business. Just because someone asked, he got the business. But that's how I built my business when I was younger, man. I just knocked on doors and built up, you know, a cadre of customers. And, you know, when I would go there, knock on the door and try to sell candy, guess what? 100% take rate. When I went to sell candy or fundraisers, I had a 100% take rate.
I did the same thing. I had to fundraise so much because my parents couldn't afford the gymnastics, and so they were hounding me to fundraise. So I would hit my neighbors all the time, and every, you know, M&Ms, you know, all the candies, everything. I knew exactly where I could go because they would just buy from me, you know, and they would support me. Granted, they're supporting me, but I knew when I had a bike-a-thon and it was just collecting money. You know, we did a 25-mile bike-a-thon every year, every single year, and we collected money. I knew I had my pages full, you know, just completely full of pledges.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's 100% take rate, man. But you know, so it's just about the grind, man. But it's also not very difficult. I love the fact that you said, you know, you just go in and just introduce yourself, and that's really as simple as it has to be. I think we can complicate things sometimes and make it too much, too elaborate. It just needs to be simple. Just like stop in, introduce yourself, give them a business card, ask them if they need anything to keep you in mind, and then turn around and walk out. And, you know, when I would do that at Cotman every Friday, we would do outside sales every Friday, in addition to what I did every day, stopping on the way of places. By the time I got back to the office on Fridays, the phones were blowing up. And my mechanics who would answer the phone when I was gone would say, man, you know, the guy over at Riley's, the guy over at Goodyear, he's already called you, you know. And none of those guys said anything when I was in there. But 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, an hour later, they're calling me. So it was just simply, as you just said, walking in, introduce myself, let them know who I am, where I'm at, if they need anything to give me a call, and turning around and walking out. Just that simple. So I would encourage anybody that may have a phobia or a fear, just grab your business card, go walk in some place, introduce yourself, turn around and walk out.
Drop it off, you know. I mean, that's all it is. Hey, I'm so-and-so, I do this, I'm here, and can't, you know, you can tell them your location, and I'm just letting you know what I do. And if you need anything, let me know, and drop off a card and leave. Yep. You know, I did it. And I remember, you know, being gone for 3, 4, 5 hours, and I come back and my wife's like, you stopped at this place. And I'm like, I stopped at a lot of places. I'm like, you stopped at this place and this place. These people want you to call them. And I'm like, okay, because I was just there. But it was just, I was in there fast enough that they couldn't really stop me, or they couldn't find me, you know, because I stopped in, let them know who I am, what I do. And I got a lot of business from that. I got a lot, you know, and I still get business from it, you know?
Yep.
And I still get recurrent, you know, I still get my regulars, you know. I stopped into one place. I remember I stopped into one place and I introduced myself, and it was a pet store. It was it was a pet store, and they were just under construction. So I didn't know who I was going to get, you know, and the guy was literally at his computer ordering printing material, literally at his computer, about ready to press send. And I walked in and introduced myself, and now I print for them on a regular basis now.
Well, who would you rather do business with? Someone that you know personally, you've met, or someone that you don't know that may be online? I think would all prefer to do business with someone that we know, right? And I think that's the importance and the value of making that connection, that introduction. And that's the value of it, because most of the times we run into people who say, what? Oh, I wish I would have known you the other day, right?
Yeah, well, and that's fine, because you know me now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because it's people don't understand. You can work for a big company. You can work for a huge company, and maybe somebody doesn't like it. They buy from, or maybe you're a little bit more expensive, but they buy from you because they like you. You know what I mean?
That's right.
or they want to support you in building your business.
Yeah.
And people don't understand is that there's a ton of generous people out there, and they want to support people.
Absolutely.
And I can't tell you enough of, I see it. I saw it all in 2020. 2020 was huge. It opened my eyes to how many people really would support us, because we got so much support through 2020 with Mail and Copy. People were coming in left and right that we didn't even know. And they were like, we appreciate you being open. We appreciate, we want to give you some business. We want to, and there was people that was just, they would spend money, and it was ridiculous. They were having a drive-by birthday, and they were buying banners, 5-yard signs. They were spending $300-400, just printing signs for a 1-hour event. You know what I mean? And it's just, they call us, the phones were ringing off the hook. If you don't have your Google page, no matter what you're doing, no matter who you're with, you don't have that Google page, that you can't be found. And we got so many calls off the internet. People, searching, hey, you guys open? Yes, we are. And that was a big thing. It's just like social media. You got to have all your social medias up and going and all filled out. And, you got to have your Googles up and going and all filled out.
Yeah.
And it goes along with also handing out business cards and flyers and the basics, the door hangers, rec cards, whatever, wearing a shirt that says, I sell real estate. I got business off of that, just because I'm standing in a tire shop, standing in a tire shop, and it says, this guy sells real estate on it. And a guy walked up to me and says, hey, I need help buying a duplex, So it's just, wearing a hat, when you wear hats, wear your brand, it's just, it helps if you're nervous and scared and you aren't that person that, that can approach people or go and meet new people. Well, you probably really need to think about what you're doing in the first place, but two, wear something that it breaks the ice. You know what I mean? This guy came up to me and I was like, how do you know I do real estate? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm wearing my shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you forgot.
I forgot, so it's you just got to get out there and talk to people and meet people and set those goals. I love Zig Ziglar when he says, set those goals, set those dreams, write them down, put them out there. And then that way, you have something to work for. I'm telling my guy here, he's been working for somebody all his life. He was in the band and he did that, but he's been working for somebody all his life. So now it's time you're not working for somebody now, you're working for yourself.
That's
right. So you have to do this on your own. I said, I'm here to support you and I'm here to do this for you, but I can't force you to go out and walk and meet people. I can't force you to, introduce yourself to people. I said, you got to do this. So you got to set your goals. You got to know what you're working for. You got to know your dollar amounts. You got to know how many people you need to talk to. You need to know where you're at every day, and then just go do it and just go talk to people and go meet people.
Yep, absolutely. No, I agree completely. With you. And it's good stuff, man. And, it's just a matter of we got to get out of our initial comfort zone. And that's why I like how you said you're not selling anything. You're just dropping in, introducing yourself and turning around and walking out. That's the easiest way to break it down. I
would go to, those businesses that says no soliciting, or the houses that say no soliciting.
Yeah.
I go into them anyways because I'm not selling anything.
You're not. No, you're not.
You're not selling a single thing. I'm not trying to get somebody to buy something from me. I'm trying to get them to know who I am and what I do.
Yep. Absolutely. Agreed.
And that's it.
Yep. Agreed completely. So yeah. Cool, man. Well, let's wrap it up because I know you got a lot to do. Good luck with your daughter's dance this weekend. What is it? BV Northwest, Blue Valley Northwest.
Yep. BV.
The Purple Huskies.
Blue Valley Northwest, baby.
Sweet. Well, good luck with that, man. And we'll catch up with you, I'm sure, sometime this weekend or next week. I'll be down at beautiful Panama City Beach doing the profit and loss. Be presenting in the profit and loss statement, profit and loss loans for self-employed people, and then soaking in all kind of knowledge with Tamika Bryant at Teach at the Beach. Carlos, Taffy's going to be down there as well. So looking forward to seeing Taffy from the block and hanging out with her.
Hey, so when are you going down there? You're going next week?
We're going to leave Sunday. And we'll get there, Monday and be there all next week to the following Monday.
So maybe we should do a follow-up Friday with Taffy from the block if you're not busy.
I think that's a great idea. We'll make it happen. That's a great idea. Yes.
You guys might be busy, but if you're not,
we'll find some time to do it. We'll get a good beach view in the background and we'll do it.
That's right. Take 10, 15 minutes and we got to see that,
Yes. All right. Well, you can count. We'll count on it. Our signal may be bad, but it doesn't matter. We'll do it and we'll just chop it up. And if nothing else, if it just freezes on the beach with a view of the beach of the ocean, so be it.
We'll screenshot it and share it, babies.
All right, my man. Take care. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, man. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.